Hi, I'm Nick Shell, and if you're watching this video, it implies that you have just watched me perform my newest song called I Write the Songs the World Will Never Hear. This video is designed to explain what inspired me to write that song. If you want to hear the song and somehow you haven't yet, just check out the description there. There's a link there where you can hear the song. So again, this is called I Write the Songs the World Never Hears. And this is a song that I wrote less than 2 weeks ago. I've been working on it and getting it just right. I wanted to write a very subtle song. I feel like the last song that I released here on my channel was quite cerebral, quite almost over the top, open house. So I wanted something that was a bit of the opposite of that, something very, very under the radar. So what I envisioned is, I've written dozens of songs that I've published here on my channels, and I share them and I put them on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. And these songs at best may get close to 150, maybe 200 views, maybe. That's about as many people who will ever hear these songs, maybe 200. And yet I keep releasing these songs. And as a YouTuber, the whole concept of making videos is that the more views you get, the more ad revenue you make. But whereas most of my videos on this channel are designed to do that, my songs are not. My songs, I publish because it's what I want to do. I'm not going to make money from those. I do it specifically because I love doing it. And I invest so much time in writing these songs. So much thought goes into the composition of it, to the lyrics of it, to practice it good enough that I can get it in one shot when I perform it. So I thought, I feel like that's a song within itself, that I'm at peace, that I'm totally okay with investing so much of my time and effort and creativity in these songs that most people are never going to hear. It's all going to be lost on most people. I'm doing this ultimately for myself more than anything. It's very therapeutic for me to write songs that understand my life better and understand my perspective of the world better. So that itself is this song. And something I'm very upfront about in writing my songs, I did a 6-video series talking about how my songs are very red pill. In other words, not having that victim mentality, finding a way to ultimately get what you want out of life and doing what's best for everyone as well as yourself, but finding a way to do it. Not ever saying, well, this is just how it is. I'm a victim. I can't do better. This is all I've been given. So it's that red pill mentality. At first, when you hear the song, I think that it could sound that way. But by the time you get to the end of it, you'll see that ultimately, this is me completely being at peace. So I think from now on, there's no reason for me to make more installments of that series, Red Pill Songwriter, because from now on, I'll just incorporate it in the video behind the song. So let's get into the lyrics. Starts out with the chorus, as most of my songs do. When you hear songs on the radio, they usually start out with the verse. That's the first words you'll hear. Most of my songs start out with the chorus. I like to specifically start them out with the chorus. So here it is. I write the songs the world never hears. I come bearing gifts, but they fall on deaf ears. My legacy, a melody of blood, sweat, and tears. I write the songs the world never hears. And now here we are getting into the autobiography of me moving to Nashville. Here we are in January of 2021. But I moved to Nashville in September. Oh, here it is. Let's just get to the lyrics. September 11th, 2005 is when I arrived. I showed up in Nashville, Tennessee, playing in rounds at cafes and bars. That's how you start. And you hope that the next time they know who you are. But I never made it too far. I never made it that far. So just to explain what that means, playing in rounds. So when you show up in Nashville, the first thing you got to do to network and meet people and get exposure is, whether it's a cafe where they're selling coffee or whether it's a bar where they have wine or beer or whatever, what they'll do is they'll put you up with 2 other people. There'll be like one person on either side of me, and we'd all take turns playing a song. So this person plays a song, and now it's my turn, and then it's their turn. And then we go again in a round, and you play maybe 3 or 4 songs for the audience, and they're there because, oh, they want to see this this struggling songwriter in Nashville try to make it. And that's how it works. And so that's what I did. You know, the first year and a half or so that I was in Nashville when I moved in 05. So 05 and 06, that's largely what I was focusing on. So moving on to the second verse. It wasn't too long before I found a real job and the woman I'd marry. Fast forward 15 years later, Jill and I live in a cul-de-sac with a daughter named Holly and a son named Jack. There's nothing at all I lack. Why would I care about being famous? I've got everything I would ever need. So there's all the lyrics to the song, of course, looping back to the chorus. I write the songs the world will never hear. I come bearing gifts, but they fall on deaf ears. My legacy, a melody of blood, sweat, and tears. I write the songs the world will never hear. So hopefully what you will hear in the song is not someone who said, oh, I moved to Nashville and I didn't become rich and famous and successful. Instead, I moved to Nashville with the hopes of making a career in songwriting. That's why I moved here. But ultimately, yeah, it's funny because I moved in 05, and then about a year later, like 13 months later, I met my wife. And it's funny, just a couple months later after I moved here, I accidentally got a real job. Instead of just unloading and loading trucks at FedEx, I started working as a recruiter in January of 2016. 15 years ago. I've been recruiting for 15 years. And I just kind of landed into this job and made a whole career out of this. Not even trying to. I'm an English major. I wasn't really trying to become like a salesman. That's ultimately what I am. But I stumbled into a career. I met the woman I'd marry. A year and a half after I met her, we were married. We've been married for 12 and a half years now. And ultimately, you know, for me moving here at age 24, the whole concept was, okay, well, if I become a successful songwriter, I can make a living off of that. That's what I'll do for a living. Well, instead, I found a living doing something else. I still met the woman I'd married. We have 2 kids. We live a comfortable life in the suburbs in a cul-de-sac. That's the reason I said cul-de-sac. That's not a word you hear very often in songs, but that symbolizes the demographics of the comfort of how we live. So ultimately, I mean it with my heart. I have everything I would need. So why would I care about being famous? So yeah, it's not me struggling to think, oh, I'm 90 days from now, I'll turn 40. Maybe it's not too late for me to make it in songwriting. No, I mean, granted, by all means, if anyone ever heard my song and they wanted to record it professionally and I could get a gig in songwriting, that'd be awesome. But that's not my intentions. I write these songs because I enjoy it. It's a lot of time that I invest in it. And very few people hear these songs and very few people truly appreciate it. And that's okay, because ultimately it's an expression of what I'm going through in life, and it helps me understand my own life better. So I'm completely at peace with knowing that I write the songs the world never hears. One more thing, Barry Manilow, I've never heard his song. He has a song like I Write the Songs that the World Sings Along to or something like that. I've never heard the song, but I've heard of it. And just me hearing that title, that's funny. I'm like the opposite of that. So I suppose that's what inspired me to write this song. And maybe as a celebration of recording this song, maybe I should check out Barry Manilow's antithesis of this song. And again, if you haven't heard the song, just check the link right there. You'll be able to hear it. Thanks for investing your time in hearing why I wrote this song.